What's the Italian restaurant? Is it the Venice?
Venice, yeah.
Oh, the Venice.
Oh, the
Yeah, I know
Venice
where
is
that
right up the street.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
That's been there forever. Well, it's 3 o'clock, so let us begin the Board of Library Trustees, the Allen County Public Library, March 24th, 2022 meeting. But before we have the roll call, let's observe a moment of silence as our hearts and prayers go out to the people of Ukraine. Thank you. Well, I don't see our secretary here, and I don't see our vice president here, so I'll call the roll. Kent,
Present.
Jim,
Present.
Marty,
Present.
Ben, I'm present too, so we have a quorum, and when Sharon and Paul come, we'll have more than a quorum. I'll entertain a motion that we adopt the agenda as distributed.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. And the approval of the minutes. If you don't mind, we'll group them from A to F. The approval of the minutes of the regular session of February 24th, 2022. Minutes of the executive session of February 24th, 2022. Minutes of Capital Projects Committee executive session February 18th, 2022. Minutes of the special meeting March 9th, 2022. Minutes of the Capital Project Committee executive session March 14th, 2022. And finally, minutes of the approval of claims March 10th, 2022. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor then signify by aye,
Aye.
and those opposed nay. Let's move to the financial report. Would you please share that with us?
Yes, Dave left me a report, it's not very long, but he just had a couple quick notes on here. The landscaping, grounds maintenance account number 3603 is spending a little high because of all the snow removal, especially all the bills that we had in February. So we are going to keep an eye on that. We may have to make some adjustments for that at the end of the year, but we'll keep an eye on that. All the other lines are fine for right now. The other note he wanted me to mention is the audit for State Board of Accounts. We did get phone call, email from Crow just last week, who handled our audit last year. They will be doing our audit again this year. And right now they are looking through the weeks of April 8th through May 9th to doing a lot of our field work testing. And that will be done remotely again as they did last year. So Dave and I are pretty confident that they continue with that start time, that we will have plenty of time to finish our audit with all the reporting and everything to get all the reports submitted to GFOA by our June 30th deadline. Okay. So, and I feel that since this is our second year working with Crow, that we're used to their platform and how to submit everything, that things will run really smooth this year.
Good.
So I think the finance team is just ready to get started on it.
Thank you, Jill. Any questions?
Is there a public, on the audit, there's no public meeting, there's no reason to have the board involved in that at all? That's just something you and Dave and the staff do?
We do have an entrance meeting, and I believe Ben
Yeah.
will be there
Okay.
for that.
And then an exit meeting,
And
but
then the exit
anybody's
meeting,
willing
that's
to,
right.
that wants to attend, it's
Okay.
some great stuff.
I've been to enough of it. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to remember exactly how that worked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion, we approve the financial report for February 2022.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. Now let's move to the approval of the claims. Anything outstanding?
We do have claims of a little over $721,000. The big ticket items on that are CMM Corporation of $119,000. The bulk of that is the genealogy Roland Center, release of the retainage on that, and a little bit of the Great Hall lighting is included in that as well. And 100,000 of that is overdrive for ebooks and audiobooks as well.
Questions about the claims? If not, motion for approval?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay? Thank you. Okay, we'll pass the claims around. Let's move then to our standing committee, it appears, the Capital Projects Committee.
All right, thank you, Ben. I am chair of the committee, everyone. We've been having this committee report for a while now. I think today's is going to be relatively short because we did have that special meeting back on March the 9th, which was a much more exhaustive review of where we stood with the facilities master plan. I think we had some good comments from the people there, a few things that we got over the internet as well, as I recall. Really, it comes down to kind of, we're moving along the timeline to have a report presented to us at our April 7 meeting. At that time, I do expect that we will then be asking for a fixing of a bond up to amount because there's certain deadlines of timing that we need to go through if we want to get through any kind of bond approval or a referendum. So this kind of starts to be a time limit that when we have to make decisions, and so I believe that would be our next major one. Again, I do invite, obviously we have some people out here, if you have comments, I'd still love to hear them. If you hear about that subject, anybody on the internet who's watching, again, send us emails or do the other reporting I think you can do on the internet to get us any comments or information. Because I said before, I did read all the comments, and we are still trying to take in whatever comments people wanted to give us. That's all I have on the committee report for the day, though.
Questions? And the April 7th meeting, should the board approve, still does not define specifically the locations nor the activity that will be taking place.
That is true. That was still is still the general plan. Do we want to invest in our community? And we'll go over that more, I think, on the April 7 meeting. But that's really what we're going to be asking and voting on at that time.
Thank you. All right, let's go to the staff presentation today. Would you like to introduce staff?
Yes, we have with us this afternoon our DuPont branch manager, Rebecca Wolf. And Rebecca is going to be presenting on outreach to adults with disabilities. And Rebecca has been the champion and the advocate within ACPL for providing accessible library services to adults with disabilities. She's doing some incredible work and has made some really meaningful partnerships. And I can't wait to hear her tell us all about it.
Thank you, Susan. Good afternoon, everyone. I am really happy to be here to talk about what is one of the best parts of my job, which is working with adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. March is Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, so that makes this a great time for us to be talking about the kind of work that ACPL is doing. Developmental disabilities include intellectual disabilities. For shorthand today, instead of always saying intellectual and developmental disabilities, I'll generally say, IDD when I talk about it. I did some digging on the internet and saw that Allen County is home for almost 14,000 adults with intellectual disabilities. And historically in our society, these adults with this kind of disability have been isolated and almost hidden away. And I am so proud that ACPL has reached out to these folks, our patrons, and said, we see you. We see you. ACPL sees you. We welcome you, and we include you in our mission for facilitating lifelong learning for everyone in our community. As Susan mentioned, a number of us at ACPL have made connections with other agencies in Allen County that serve adults with IDD. The major ones that I'm aware of from the last 10 or 15 years include Life Adult Day Academy, or LADA as it's known, Benchmark, Easter Seals Ark, Gigi's Playhouse, Camp Red Cedar, Maple Seed Farms, and Southside and Northrop High Schools. Mari Hardacre from Teens and Angie Fetters from Children's have done work with the high schools. And I included them today. They're teens, but also adults. You can attend school in Fort Wayne Community Schools until you're, I believe, 21 if you're in the program for students with disabilities. My longest running current program that I do is a book club that I do at Gigi's Playhouse, which is a local affiliate of a national organization. They provide programs for folks of all ages with Down syndrome. Educational programs, recreational programs, all kinds of different things. We started this book club early in 2017, so it's been going for 5 years now. We have met every Tuesday for that time. Mostly in person. We met virtually for a while when COVID prevented us from meeting in person. The model that we follow is a little different from what you might think of as a traditional book club where members read the books ahead of time and then they come and talk about them. We read together. We take turns reading out loud. Some of the members skate right through. They don't need any help from me. They read their passage. Others might need help with a few words, and still others are what we might call emergent readers. They know their sight words, but they have trouble with other words, so they just echo me. I read a word or two, they read it, and then we make it through the passage together that way. And it's just amazing to watch them interact with one another. They coach one another, cheer for one another, and are so accepting no matter where they are on their reading journey. It's been one of the best experiences I've had as a librarian going there. We do read primarily children's books. That is where they are cognitively for comprehension. We read a lot of nonfiction. I try to find books that are on topics that are of interest to the members of the book club. What I really wish I could find were books that are like children's nonfiction with lots of pictures that talk about day-to-day life, but that have adults in them, pictures of adults. So I've actually written a couple and printed them out. I just did them in Word, printed them out, and we read those sometimes too. I did one about what it's like to go to a Tin Caps game. I did one about Gigi's Playhouse itself, and I included pictures from Gigi's social media feed. So they really liked that one because there were pictures of their friends and themselves in the book, and they thought that was very cool. So I'll probably write more of those to use. After we read, we do a craft, or sometimes we just color or chat. In this particular picture, we all made Forky from Toy Story 4. We had read a book about Toy Story 4, so we made our own Forkies. These 4 guys are the heart and soul of our book club. We've had other people come and go over the years, but these 4 have been there almost since the beginning. And really, they're not just book club members, they've become my friends over the years. Late in 2017, after I'd been at Gigi's for a few months, one of the interns there said, you know, you really should talk to the folks at Life Adult Day Academy, or LADA, which I had never heard of. So I called them and found out that LADA is the only school in Fort Wayne for adults with IDD. It's not a daycare, it's not a workshop of any kind, it's a school where they have classes like computer classes and art and social skills. And every Monday, we have library time at LADA, and I've been doing that since late in 2017. We do what you might call a modified story time. I go in and we play the same hello song every week, and I greet everyone by name with a fist bump or an elbow bump during COVID. And then we do a few songs to get everyone engaged and singing, maybe moving around a little bit. We do use children's songs. Again, I try to stay away from songs that are too kiddish, but a lot of kids' songs have a lot of movement described in them and give us some direction for what we can do. But we also sing traditional silly songs that they might have learned in camp, like On Top of Spaghetti, or sometimes we even sing pop songs. A couple weeks ago, we belted out Jolene by Dolly Parton, and I think it was therapeutic for all of us. It's just fun to really yell that at the top of your lungs. And then we have the literacy component. There are several different models here. Sometimes I read aloud, as is shown in the picture there. Sometimes we all read together, rhymes, poems. Other times we do readers theater. If you're not familiar with that, it's a little like a play script without the movement parts. So members of the class volunteer to read, and they take on a part in the little script. Again, reading levels vary. Some need a lot of coaching, and some can just fly through on their own. And then we close up by music again, getting everybody moving around. We generally do pop songs at this point, and we have manipulatives or instruments, they call them, maybe some rhythm sticks, egg shakers, ribbons to wave around, that kind of thing. So that gets everybody moving and burning off some energy. I want to stop and let this thing sink in for a minute. This is what I do every Monday. This is how I start my week. I am out there, I get there at about 9:25, I turn the corner into this big rec room that they have, and I'm not kidding you, most of the time when I come, I hear, Rebecca's here, woohoo! It's like I'm a rock star. It is so affirming. And then we do our thing with the literacy and music, and every Monday morning, you can think of me if you're struggling, every Monday morning at about 10 o'clock, I'm out there. I am dancing with my friends, and this is my job. I just can't believe how lucky I am to be able to do this. This is just a fantastic program. I kind of winged it when I started doing this. I actually started many years ago with Northrop High School students and tried to come up with a format for how could I modify a story time for adults. I like to read about intellectual disabilities, and a couple years ago, this book was published. It's a scholarly book that was very affirming in that it reported that research shows that a lot of what we're doing at LADA and at Gigi's Playhouse really does boost literacy skills in adults with IDD. The shared reading where I read something or one of the other class members reads something. Last week, one of my friends from LADA wanted to read an essay about what it's like to have a disability because she knew it was Disabilities Awareness Month, so she stood up and read. Independent reading, which we do at both places, and phonological awareness activities. Choral reading is great when we all read together, or sometimes we sing songs together with the lyrics printed out, or when we actually come right out and talk about rhyme or alliteration. All of that is really great. Not only is it fun, but it's really great for building their literacy skills. A lot of my friends from LADA and Gigi's go to Camp Red Cedar in the summer, and someone from Red Cedar contacted me in 2018 to ask if I could bring my program there. It's just north of DuPont Branch. It's a wonderful camp where they have adults with disabilities, kids and teens with disabilities, kids and teens with autism, kids and teens and adults with Down syndrome, and kids without disabilities. And they mix them all together. It's fantastic. So a given week, I might just have adults with disabilities, but then the next week, I might have kids without disabilities mixed with teens with autism. It's a wonderful model of inclusion. And I go there every week during the summer, and I do a very similar program to what I do at LADA. We have the music and movement, and we have a literacy component. Those programs are all on the road. They're all outreach. A number of us managers realized we need to do more for folks in our buildings. We know that a lot of adults with IDD come to the library. Some come individually, and a lot of them come in groups from Benchmark or Easter Seals or Maple Seed Farms or other places. So this year, we started what we call All Abilities Club, a monthly program at 4 of our branches where we will offer to adults with IDD different models of a program. We might do arts and crafts one month. Next month, we'll do Star Wars themed activities. We might do a modified story time like I do at LADA, or have a guest speaker, or just play games. But once a month at 4 of our locations, we will have a program just for adults with IDD. We started in March, and at DuPont Branch, for our March painting program, my sign-up limit was 22, and we actually had 26 people come, and it was fabulous. They really enjoyed the painting activity and enjoyed getting to know new people and making new friends. Hessen Castle had their program yesterday, and it was a big success as well. They had 12 people come for theirs, and they really enjoyed it. There are other libraries around the country that do this type of programming, but I don't believe it's a widespread phenomenon. The American Library Association, ALA, saw a need to promote and encourage this type of programming, and so last year this book was published, Library Programming for Adults with Developmental Disabilities. It's meant to encourage libraries to adopt this kind of programming, and it offers some best practices. They culled the best practices from interviews from librarians across the country, and I was one of the librarians that they talked to, the authors of this book. There's a little blurb there that describes the outline of what I do when I go to Lotto or Camp Red Cedar and take story time on the road. So I'm really proud that ACPL is on the leading edge here. And I look forward to helping ACPL to increase our offerings for this type of programming, which is so important and so needed and just so very rewarding. What questions or comments do you have? Paul, yeah.
Have you provided input on what we've been talking about?
Facility master plan?
Yes.
Oh, yes, I have. And
yeah.
I've encouraged the folks that I know at Gigi's, at Maple Seed Farms, at Lada to fill out the surveys, yes. And I think some friends from Maple Seed Farms filled it out. I know they were looking for sensory rooms and other kinds of things in some of our branches. I would love to see sensory rooms and adult changing tables and all kinds of things.
So it seems like the majority of what you're doing is outside of
So
DuPont
far,
branch
yes.
right now.
Yeah.
Do you believe that there could be more if the facilities are better suited to that, or are there transportation issues?
There are transportation issues, definitely, but Edith has already said, Edith, the manager at Hessen Castle, she could have had more participants in her program this week if she had a bigger meeting room. So she's hoping to get a bigger meeting room and a renovation of her building. We need very big facilities, in part because some of these folks are in wheelchairs and they often move around a lot, so it's not necessarily great to have them sitting right next to one another too closely. So I think so, yeah. I would love to see us do more in the building. On the other hand, if we have to go to meet them because of transportation issues or other factors, I think that's fine too.
So I was able to go to a lot of story time with Rebecca a few months ago, and it's magic. And she has a gift, and she is so generous with her gifts to share her skills with our other librarians. So these programs, they can be spread throughout the system. And you said that you're lucky this is your job. Well, we're lucky you're with ACPL.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan.
Any other questions?
Rebecca, I just want to say thank you. This is wonderful. It's
Aw,
one of the reasons
thank you,
I
Marty.
love this library. It's because of you and this program, people like you here to do this. So thank you very
That's
much.
nice. Thank you, Marty. That's nice.
Okay, let's move then to our contract for wireless services.
I told our IT folks this might be a hard act to follow. Sorry, guys, but it's very important. Wireless services is very important.
Yeah, it's probably not as interesting. It's a necessary.
So we have Tom,
thing we have
Kevin,
to
and
do.
Tim here from our IT department. Thank you
Tom
very much,
Manning,
gentlemen.
Kevin Wells, Tim Corey. So basically, the current Wi-Fi network that we have is 6 years old. Technology's advanced from there, and the equipment itself is at the end of its serviceable life. So it's not really able to be upgraded, or if something should fail, it would be hard to replace it piece by piece. So it was in our plans to see about getting it replaced this year, and we put out a request for proposal, and you have a synopsis of the three of us met and did the evaluation of these proposals, and this is a synopsis of the choices that we had. So we looked at factors, not only price. Price was the most major, highly weighted item. But we also had to factor in things like the number of access points, because although we had one proposal that was lowest, it was more like a one-to-one replacement of what we already have, and we know that there are deficiencies in areas, and one of the goals of this this installation is coverage of our outside areas, and a couple of the lowest cost were deficient in the number of access points to the outside. So we feel that they didn't really get what we were trying to do. So NSI is a company that we've worked with for several projects. Very comfortable working with them. The price is right in line with all the others. It may look high, but they're adding more access points to have better coverage. And we just feel like that is our best choice all around for this project.
So your recommendation is the NSI base
The
proposal?
NSI base, yeah. They had options to do a site survey and add, like, what was it, 40% more access points. But we really think that their base not only would be equal to what we have, but since it's better technology, it'll even be better. And it's just
Sharon?
So the NSI base will give us the Meraki.
it'll give us the
software,
Meraki access points.
which are fabulous. Those are the ones I use in my house.
And we have a Meraki wired network. Our total infrastructure is Meraki, and adding that will make it easier to manage under one interface.
Will we need to construct any infrastructure on the exterior in order for our network to go out in the broadband, and will this be included on the outside base?
Yeah, the installation for the outside access points is included in this total.
Is there any structures that we have to put up for that? When I
Not
ask that
that I
question, I'm thinking
know.
like the Verizon poles that are going up everywhere. Will we
No,
need to do anything?
we actually have 3 outside access points in the front of this building. And the company that installed the whole network put those up too.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I have.
Yes, Paul?
This is about as recognizable as COBOL programming was 100 years ago when I actually tried to learn it. I have no idea what Juniper, Ruckus, I don't know why somebody would name it Ruckus, or the proposed access points mean. I will say that Aruba is very intriguing. But I just...
Those are actually the brand names of the
Okay,
access
so...
points of the technologies.
Okay, and so these are kind of silly questions, but like Verizon, AT&T, I mean, do
Those
they not
are
provide these
those are
types of
companies.
services to
Those
an
aren't
entity
those
such
aren't
as
the
this at all?
That's not the hardware part of it. If we would contract with somebody like Verizon, they would probably use one of these listed
This would be
access
like,
points. This is just the hardware part of
Okay.
it.
They're the service provider.
yeah.
Okay, and they don't
Yeah.
provide any of that, okay. I didn't realize that.
No.
That's interesting.
That would just go through our regular network.
Okay,
Where is this manufactured?
that was gonna be my next question.
Would you
That's a
ask?
good question.
Where is it manufactured?
I know Meraki's owned by Cisco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the actual manufacturing I don't
But
know.
it's a domestic corporation. Cisco's.
Cisco
domestic.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
But I doubt if the hardware is actually produced in the United States.
So the last question I have is just, and it's, again, it's probably not a very good one, but is there ARP money available for anything like this?
Yeah, this is under the,
This is E-rate. This is an E-rate eligible project, and we have signed the letter of intent contingent upon board approval, E-rate approval, and then us writing a purchase request. We're anticipating an 85% discount from E-rate, so we'll be paying,
about $25,000.
yeah, about 15% of the number there is what the library will actually be responsible for.
Oh, okay.
Very good.
That makes it
much
easier.
more palatable.
Yeah. Does that make our argument a little stronger with the 5%?
Buried the lead there, gentlemen.
I did have a question or two here. Just time-wise, like you said, the one we have right now is 6 years old. Any way to project how long this will last? Is it a 5-year really the max we can really anticipate?
It's been a real solid network. We've had no failures at all in the 6 years.
Okay.
But there's really no way of predicting how long things might be stable. Like I said, they are at the end of their serviceable life, so they're ruckus now. So, it's not really advisable to keep that.
Okay. And how long do you think the time frame is? If we say yes and you go through this, when will this actually be installed? Like next summer, this summer, or?
Yeah, this summer.
Okay.
We have to wait and then get the USAC funding, the E-rate funding.
Okay.
And once we hear about that, what is it, April is the earliest that we can have things installed.
And they can't bill us for anything until July, according to E-rate rules, so it'll probably be summer before it gets installed.
Okay.
I move for the approval of the NSI base wireless upgrade.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Paul, second. Any further discussion?
Just one question. I just assume, Jill, this is a part of our budgeted items already for capital improvement this year?
Well, where's Mr. Dave for that?
Right? I was looking at the capital
Dave would
list of what's
say
already
yes.
done. I don't see it on there, but I'm assuming that
I
that's
would have to
something that
check
we
with
thought.
Dave on that.
Okay.
And I can check with him, obviously, for that. I don't even know if he gave me that is a good question. And I would assume he's aware of that.
I believe it's on our 10-year project plan that IT puts out.
Oh, okay.
But we schedule this like every 6 years for Wi-Fi.
Okay.
I remember reading that a couple of nights ago. So
We can check
In
on
between the
that.
attorney emails, right?
And for clarification, this body has to take a vote in order for them to go to the funding source, correct?
Yes.
For the, yeah.
Any other questions? Comments? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay? Well, good luck, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next item deals with an adjustment of subscription card cost under a schedule of fines and fees. This is perfunctory, isn't it?
Yes, a little housekeeping. So last month, you approved our annual report, and I have at all of your place settings, a sheet from it, and it shows that our total 2021 operating expenditures per capita came out at $86.54. Well, we were charging $85 for our subscription card, which is a card that we sell to non-residents of Allen County who want to use our library and check out materials. So per the Indiana State Library, we do need to raise that subscription cost to either equal or in the range of the operating expenses per capita. So we are asking for approval to raise that subscription card price from $85 to what it is currently to $87. And just for reference, I looked, right now we have 331 subscription card members here.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay?
I had a quick question,
Oh,
or not question, actually, comment. So
Okay.
just so I understand, this is 7948 is 2019, right?
2020.
Is that,
2020.
oh, I'm sorry, 2020.
Yeah.
And then 8002 is 2021. Am I reading this correctly? I'm just trying to understand. Without the heading, I'm,
8654.
8654.
okay, what is, am I looking at the right sheet? This is the right sheet, right?
The highlighted.
The highlighted part.
I understand that. What do these numbers at the top represent? Because I don't see a header, so I'm just
That's
trying
the
to.
the ones at the top are the operating expenditures per capita. So in 2020, it would have been 8002.
So actually, 2019,
2019,
it would be 8002,
Yeah.
2020, 7948, and then,
So it went down from? Because I remember looking at this, I think Ted was the one that
Yeah,
directed me to the
yeah.
page, and it was not going down, it was going up. So I'm just confused. And the only reason I bring this up is because it clearly went up considerably more.
Right.
So as we make decisions down the road, and I'm usually the bad guy on this, in terms of raises and all that, we got to think about that, because we got a big public question coming up, and I, for one, am going to keep hammering away at that
sure.
while that question comes up.
Good point, Paul.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions before I call for the vote? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay? It passes.
Thank you.
Okay, an adjustment to the staffing table.
Yes, I will turn that over to Lorraine.
Hi, good afternoon. Before I start, I wanted to introduce everyone to a new face. I talked about our new employee experience coordinator, and I wanted to introduce her really fast. Her name is Myra Presley. She joined us almost a month ago. It's gone by fast. She's done all the branch tours. She's really jumped right in and offered some really great ideas for employee engagement and training ideas, and we're very happy to have her. So, in the flip side, the bittersweet news. So I, right now, in addition to Myra and Michelle, I have 2 HR specialists, Alex McQuaid and Danielle Gleason. Alex has been here for 16 years and has decided to retire at the end of this month. So it's definitely a loss for my department. She's been fantastic. She actually started in the executive director's office as the assistant there, and moved over to HR. So with that vacancy, as with any vacancy, it's a good opportunity to look at it. Both of them right now are on the same job description. They're both HR specialists. But a lot of their duties are really a generalist role. They do a little bit of everything. So I am asking today to adjust the soon-to-be open position, Alex's, to a human resources generalist. It would stay in the same pay grade. I would take away some of the functions that right now are split duties and give those to Danielle to make her a lead. So my ask is to change the current open or the soon-to-be open position to an HR generalist role and change Danielle to a senior HR specialist. The one error that I made on the 2 job descriptions I sent in the packet, so right now they both are P2 pay grade. I don't want to change my total allocated budget for my department, but just reallocate to a generalist would usually come in a little bit less than a specialist, and reallocate some of those funds to Danielle because she'll be taking on more responsibility. If you wanted, I don't know how much detail you want, but I've removed some of the workers' comp role, employee relations, OSHA reporting that right now they've split and moved those over to Danielle as the lead, and bringing in that HR generalist to help out with all of the other duties on that job description.
Okay. Questions? Then let's entertain a motion to the adjustment of the staffing table as presented.
So moved.
Paul, Jim second. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay.
Nay.
Got it. Passes. Okay, let's turn to the executive director's report.
Great, thank you, Ben. So we have librarians at the Public Library Association Conference in Portland, Oregon this week. And it's one of our first in-person conferences since post-COVID, and we're getting some reports back in. They're learning a lot, having a great time, and they're experiencing Oregon rain as we are experiencing Indiana rain. So they're not missing out on any weather. Also, Kevin is still here in the back. Kevin, I'm going to give you a shout out. So it is a time of a lot of transitions here within our staffing at Allen County Public Library. And as you know, Topher Slaughter retired last month, and I'm thrilled to announce that Kevin Wells, right there in the room, an employee here for 21 years, he has accepted the promotion to IT manager. So congratulations, Kevin. Applause. And we are also bidding a fond farewell to some more staff members, some familiar faces. Pontiac Branch Manager Lisa Worrell, she is resigning to spend more time with family, and we really respect her choice, but we are really going to miss her. She was such a force in that community, and she still really wants to be involved as a library supporter, but this is the season for her to spend more time with her family, and we respect that. We have hired a new manager for the Pontiac Library, and it's another familiar face. It is Deborah Meserve. She has been the assistant branch manager at Georgetown for the past 5 years, so she is being promoted, so congratulations to her. We also bid a fond farewell to our Grable branch manager, Mindy Patterson. She has accepted a position as the director of the Kendallville Public Library. So that is a real loss for us, but what a coup for Kendallville. And any time that we have a staff person here and they grow and learn and develop and then kind of fly the ACPL coop to become a director at another library, it's sad for us, but a benefit for the wider Indiana library community. So we'll miss her a lot. And we are recruiting for that position right now. And speaking of recruitment, we had over 70 applicants for our Director of Community Partnerships and Programs position. We have narrowed that down to 3 finalists, and those interviews are going on now. So I hope by next month we'll have some news on that. I wanted to share about a partnership we are doing, and what really excites me about this partnership is that the city came to us because they knew we could be a big help. The city reached out to us with the partnership opportunity to support the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. And the program had already dispersed over $13 million in emergency rental assistance. They received an additional $6.3 million to help renters affected by the pandemic who fell behind on their rent and utility bills. So City of Fort Wayne staff have office hours at several of our libraries, and patrons are coming in and getting one-on-one assistance to apply for that assistance. So we're happy to partner with them.
That's terrific.
It really is. It really is. And I'm so grateful for the City of Fort Wayne staff who saw that we could really be a help, that they could meet people where they are, and reached out to us with the opportunity. I also want to share that at a Boyd, they had an underground leak that led to the branch being closed for almost 2 days for repair. So I want to thank Jake and the maintenance crew for coordinating all of that. You might wonder how we discovered there was an underground leak. Would you like to know? I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But I have to bring up the email. I should have printed it out. Because I emailed Jake, how do you know there's an underground leak? People noticed that after the big thaw and rain event was over, things were drying up, but the lot was still excessively wet. So they called out our regular plumbing contractor. They did a thermal inspection, and they found a large cold spot from the water coming out of the main supply. So there you go. But they're back in business. We received some really wonderful feedback from a Shawnee patron that Ben suggested that I read out loud during the meeting, and I'm glad he did. It's regarding going fine-free for minors. So staff received a call from a patron, and I'll read directly here, who was so thankful for our fine amnesty program. She told me that her children love to read, and that books for them is like watching television. She loved that. She had told me, and this is the Shawnee staff person writing to me, that during 2020 and 2021, it was so challenging for her financially that she had to choose between buying groceries and paying her library fines. She mentioned that she actually had to avoid the library because her daughter would throw fits because she missed checking out books. They eventually came back, but the children were only allowed to read while they were in the building due to the accumulation of unpaid fines. She said that her daughter couldn't understand why they couldn't borrow books, and it broke her heart. But she said that as soon as she heard about the fine amnesty program, they came back to the library, and this family now has over 100 books checked out to their account. So a real success story there. And that is my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Question? No? Good report?
Thank you.
Is
Thank
it
you.
an opportune time to talk about the issue of fines overall?
Sure.
When
Sure.
we're going to do that? If we do that.
Yeah, so we are looking this year at the data to see if there is any correlation to fines being removed for minors and the rate that materials are being brought back. So I think it's a little too early to tell that connection, but that is something that we are tracking this year. And once we have more information on that, we'd like to revisit this and discuss whether we would like to move forward for fine-free for the entire system.
If you do a Google search, and I'm sure you've already done it, but for anybody else that wants to, there's a lot of systems out there that are
There is.
going that direction.
Absolutely,
There's no
yes.
doubt.
It has
And there's
become-
actually some with, the positive and the negative
Mm-hmm.
impact and all that. Interesting.
Sharon?
I think the only thing I would add is I support the fine-free. I think we just have to be careful, like on some of those where they've gone fine-free with late material, but increased cost in different places to recoup those dollars. But I like the fine-free idea. Let's say that, fine-free.
Fine-free, yeah.
Okay. Fine free. Marty, you want a fine free or?
I'm not, I still have to be convinced, so, but Susan knows that. So, I did have a question though, Susan, the collection management report, which I
Yeah.
always appreciate getting.
Yes.
And I think Nate does a great job at laying it all out here very easily for me to understand. Is this accessible actually to the public, or is this really just for the board at this point that it's given to? Do you know?
It is available to the public by request.
Okay.
So anyone who is interested, email me at librarydirector@acpl.info. I am happy to send it out.
All right. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Susan. Are there any items of new business that should come before the board?
I don't know if this is new business or if it was addressed and I didn't see it, but the email that went out, actually the dozens of emails that went out
Yeah.
that I couldn't open, I don't know about
Neither
anybody
could
else.
we.
Pardon me?
Neither could we.
Okay, so.
I was able to, I talked to Helen, and I think it has to do with the software that you're opening it with, possibly. But I think Helen was saying she's going to try to figure out a way to do it so that
Okay,
anybody
so-
can open it with any cross-platform with Adobe.
Because I'd like to see them at some
Yeah.
point, you know.
Yeah.
Because I am running on the newest version of Adobe, and that's what
makes
it's
sense.
formatted in. So it could be that if you're running on an older version of that, it won't open.
Yeah, that makes sense. I usually assume that it's user error on my part. That's my first
And just, I read,
go-to.
I did read through them. It's really the whole history for the last
There are
several
a
years.
million of them.
Or, yeah, it's the most recent one. There's several recent ones, but most of them are things that I've seen anyway over the last couple of years. And so it's maybe not be as many as you think, but suddenly there's a whole
Well,
onslaught of
I'm
emails.
wanting to
But
see the ones related to the
yeah, the
project.
facilities master plan. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't want you to see them. I just want you to know it's not 100 of them. It's maybe
Gotcha.
3 or 4. But, yeah.
Did it come through the trustees library? Because when you sent that, I didn't get
With yours,
the
Sharon,
email.
because it's so large, it bounced back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, time for public comment. Did anyone from the public?
We have hand held up here from our AV people.
So we have a fun comment from Dave. He was listening in. So his comment about the wireless service contract, about the capital budget, he said, yeah, any portion not covered by E-rate will be paid from the capital budget.
Thank you. Okay, Dave, you could go back to whatever you're doing. Any other comments from the public?
No one has signed in.
No one has signed in? Okay, well, with that, I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? We are adjourned. Thank you. We need to-
Thank you.